We want to help you today to make every journey quantifiable. And that is to say, we want to help you today to understand the vibrational relativity between where you are right now and where you want to be. If you will reach for the best feeling thought that you can find right now, you'll move closer to where you want to be. And if then, even though you're still not where you want to be, for example, let's say you're really depressed about something. Something has happened and you feel awful. Now, in that feeling of depression, we want to point out to you that the reason that depression or fear or discouragement, all of those very deep, uncomfortable feelings, the reason they feel the way they do is because the basis of them is your perception of lack of freedom. You feel disempowered. Up here in the good feeling emotions like joy and love and appreciation, there's the feeling of empowerment. You feel freedom there. And if you will think about it, every emotion along this emotional scale is about the degree to which you know your power or the degree to which you don't. In other words, your power and your freedom is not at issue. You are free. No one can vibrate for you. No one can attract into your experience. But it's your perception of freedom that is at stake here. The better you feel, the more you are perceiving your freedom and power. The worse you feel, the more you are perceiving your lack of it. Think about the things that you think about that make you feel frightened. Deadly illnesses, something happening to somebody I love, something happening with the government, someone dropping the atomic bomb, some terrorist coming doing something that we don't want them to do. In other words, the feelings of disempowerment like fear, the feelings of disempowerment like depression, they are all wrapped around your feeling that something bad could happen to you or someone you love and you are powerless to do anything about it. Isn't that right? And what we're wanting you to understand is that you can do something about the way you feel. You can control your vibration, therefore you can control your feeling. Therefore, there is never any reason for you to fear anything because there is never any circumstance over which you cannot control the way you feel. And the more you do that, then the fewer circumstances come to you that you feel that you need to control. In time, you begin to feel invincible, and in fact, you are. So, let's say you're in this place of depression, and some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed person is trying to coax you into love or appreciation, and you try to make the jump because you believe in them, you believe that you want to be happier, you would like to please them, they'd feel better if you were happier. But when you try to make the jump, you can't because the vibrational frequencies are too great. You see, when you are focused upon something, and by focus we mean thinking about it, we mean remembering it, pondering it, observing it, imagining it, contemplating it, whether you are focused into the past or the present or the future, you're doing it all right now, and in doing it you are activating a vibration. And as you activate a vibration, there is immediate awareness of the vibrational relativity between you and what you're activating right now and who you really are and what you really want. Isn't that wonderful to know? So in every moment that you're focused upon anything, you're getting in the moment, instant, accurate, important feedback from your source. Your source isn't saying to you, you're bad, therefore we are giving you negative emotion. Your source is saying to you, you are choosing with your free will to focus in a way that has you vibrationally resistant to who you really are and what you want. You are defying your own creative inheritance. Now, what we mean by that is you came into this body as an extension of source energy, knowing that this well-stocked kitchen of wonderful contrast would help you to individually conclude your preferences. And source was delighted in the uniqueness of your perspective. Source understands that when you are having your unique experience, you're going to conclude a unique desire, and the universe expands every time you do that. So this workshop is not about the expansion of the universe. That's a given. That's going to happen. This workshop is not about source benefiting by your exposure to contrast. That happens all day, every day. Every time you conclude something, source rides that rocket and the universe expands. This workshop is about you and your vibrational relationship to the creations, the magnificent creations that you are setting forth, and where you stand right now. So You've launched this rocket of desire, and the way you feel is your indication of how you're doing usually vibrationally about it. So when you focus upon something, you activate a vibration. And if you activate that vibration for as little as 17 seconds, which means just don't change the subject, maintain your opinion, your attitude, your focus upon it. In 17 seconds, another thought like it will join it. And its power increases. If you maintain it for another 17 seconds, another thought like it joins it. And by the time you've focused for as little as 68 seconds, you've established a vibrational frequency that means that this is for now your point of attraction. And that point of attraction now is giving you immediate feedback between this point of attraction and this point of attraction. In other words, the source energy point of attraction and where you are focused right here and now. Now, if you stay focused there longer, this activated vibration becomes what we call a dominant activated vibration, a dominant vibration. And that's all a belief is. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. But we want to call it a vibration rather than a thought, because sometimes you have opinions or attitudes about so many different things that you can't even isolate the thought. In other words, when you feel like people aren't nice to you and you start feeling like a victim, then everybody picks on you in one way or another. The weather rains on you, and the road gets potholes to irritate you, and the traffic lights defy you, and the people that you know are rude to you. In other words, it seems like nothing goes well for you, like there's this huge conspiracy out there of people who hold meetings just to see how they can make your life miserable. And we promise you, it's not that way at all. You've just activated a vibration long enough that you are holding yourself apart from all of the good stuff that you've been telling the universe that you want and absolutely deserve. So as you begin to pay attention to the way you feel, you can begin little by little to release the vibrations that are not serving you while you enhance the vibrations that are. So when we say to you, don't try to reach for the best feeling thought that you or anybody has ever thought, you're not going to make that jump. You're going to fall in the crack and you're going to feel worse for having done it. Instead, make a decision that you're going to reach for the best feeling thought you can find. The best feeling thought you have access to right now. So from depression, that best feeling thought might very well be revenge. It might be. And if you've ever been in a place of total disempowerment, doesn't revenge sort of sound all right for a minute? Esther has been using an AT&T cell phone for years, and she's been very pleased with it as she moves around the country. It works almost everywhere. Strong, good signal, especially with the antenna on the bus. And rarely was a call ever disconnected. Then AT&T merged with Singular. And now her telephone experience is far, far inferior to what it was before. So when she calls the company and says, I'm having such and such an experience. I was on this very spot in this very campground in Malibu, California for the last 5 years, and this time my cell phone doesn't work. And they say to her, it's supposed to work better. And Esther says, I know it is supposed to work better. That's what you tell me when I call. But I thought you'd like to know that it doesn't work better here, or here, or here, or here, or here. In fact, it doesn't work better anywhere. So tell whoever needs to know. At which point they say, it's supposed to work better. So Esther feels powerless. Her telephone is so important to her. Not powerless on everything, just powerless relative to this dreadful telephone. So the first thought she has that gives her a tremendous feeling of relief is revenge. I'll run an ad in the Wall Street Journal. I'll get their attention. If they're not willing to tell somebody that the end user experience is different than they're telling the people who work for them that it is, those people all live in Phoenix or all live in San Diego or all live someplace right near a tower. It's those of us that are driving from tower to tower to tower to tower that are having calls dropping off constantly and no reception in areas where we were supposed to get reception. I'll run an ad, and my ad will say, Why does my AT&T service suck now that it is merged with singular? I want answers. Well, we have to say to you that Esther felt better in that thought. Powerlessness does not set well with any of you. And of course, as Esther beat the drum of revenge for a little bit, she went right into humor. In other words, she is not really in despair or powerlessness relative to most things in her life, but it is really disturbing. And so as she found the vibration of revenge, she felt a little better. And then as she found the vibration of anger, she felt a little better. And then as she found the vibration of frustration, she felt a little better. And as she found the vibration of humor, in other words, she has no intention of running the ad. It just felt good to pretend that she was going to run it. And she realizes that the longer she beats that drum of how bad this phone is, that the less possibility that there's going to be that anybody's going to sort it out. She knows that she has to do something different in her vibration in order to attract something that works better for her. She's wise enough and has had enough success on enough subjects to know that she can easily move into a place where one day, not so far from now, someone will hand her something that will work really, 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 really well for her. But for now, she wants to beat the drum of, well, they're going to put out a new phone, but we just paid a lot of money to have this special satellite thing put on our roof, and a special antenna wired down through the coach, and a special thing right here on my new motor coach that holds this phone. I really don't want another phone. Someone should have told me about this before I went to all of that trouble. In other words, you can stand where you are and defend where you are and fight for your limitations as long as you want, but the fact of it is, these feelings and this awareness about this phone not working are exact, contrasting, opposite vibrations to what Esther needs to do in order to find a solution. She cannot get there from there, no matter how right she is. And that's the thing that we want you to understand. People will say, well, Abraham, why should I be forced to find a better thought when I'm looking at the truth? It's true, shouldn't I give my attention to it? And we say, there are things that are true that you don't want to create in your experience. And there are things that are true that you do want to create in your experience. We would encourage you to focus upon the things that are true that feel good. We would say, if you will let it feel good when you think about it, or as good as it can feel, you can move up the emotional scale. Now, Esther was not really in depression or despair over her telephone. But if you are in depression or despair about something, and you reach for a thought of anger or revenge or rage, and you feel relief from it, then you've done good work for now. And the thing that we so much want you to hear is that when you release resistance, in other words, allowing always feels good. Resisting doesn't feel good. Allowing of what? Allowing of your connection with your source and all of the things that you've identified that you want. That's huge. There is only a stream of well-being that flows. You don't walk into a room and look for a dark switch. There is not one. There's not a switch that floods inky, misty darkness into your room and covers up the light. There is a resistor to the light. There is not a source of evil. There is only a source of well-being and goodness, which you can allow or not. There's not a source of sickness. There is only a stream of well-being, which you disallow or not. And so as you understand that there is allowing or resisting of this stream, and the more you are allowing, the better you feel, and the more you are resisting, the worse you feel. So if you are in the place of depression and you find the life-giving breath of fresh air that rage or anger will bring you, stop and say, and this is so important, I can feel the relief of my choice of thought. And even though I don't plan to stay here forever, it sure feels better than where I was. I chose this better feeling thought, and I brought relief to myself. Because when you say that, you have now regained your power, haven't you? And isn't that what all of these emotions are about anyway? Being the creator of your own experience, regaining your power, getting to choose a vibration that will cause you alignment with source.